Chapter 4. Sean and I exchanged glances. Was he serious? We found 2 tiny rooms upstairs. The crow's nest, as our uncle called it. Each room had a small dresser with a lamp on top and a rope hammock strung between wooden posts. Uncle Jim set down the suitcases. "I'll bet you've never slept in a hammock before," he said, smiling again, making his mustache flutter. Sean squeezed a hand over the ropes, testing it. Do people really sleep in these things? That made Jim laugh. You sleep like a baby seal. Do baby seals sleep a lot? I wondered. I unpacked some of the clothes from my suitcase and stuffed them into the small dresser. The rest I left in the suitcase. I shoved the suitcase against one wall. Then I hurried down the narrow, creaking stairway to rejoin Uncle Jim. I couldn't wait to hear more about the cat. I found Uncle Jim sitting across from Sean at a tiny wooden table in a corner of the kitchen. Bursts of wind off the ocean rattled the kitchen window. Over the rush of the wind, I could hear waves crashing hard on the shore. Celeste hadn't moved from the round rug in the center of the front room. She was curled up tightly, making soft, purring sounds as she slept. Had I imagined her talking? No, I definitely had heard her speak. I sat down across from Uncle Jim. He pushed a tall brown mug across the table to me. "You must be thirsty after your journey, Violet," he said. "Some sailor's grog will refresh you." I gazed into the mug. Sailor's grog? Actually, it's Diet Sprite, he said. The village store doesn't carry real grog. Outside the window, I could see part of the lighthouse, solid and gray, throwing its shadow over the house. "Have ye heard from your parents?" Jim asked. He rubbed his mustache. 3 weeks in Argentina, that's a long business trip. Why didn't they take you with them? They thought we'd have more fun here, I said. And Mom said it was time Sean and I met our long-lost uncle. Jim took a slow drink. Yes. You'll have more fun here. And the food is good, too. Mrs. Henry from the village is bringing us crab cakes and slaw tonight. Sean had his eyes on the sleeping cat in the front room. Celeste, he said. Does she really talk? Jim patted Sean's arm. Yes, she does, my lad, he said, lowering his voice to a whisper. I'll tell ye the story. But I warn ye, it's a sad one. He took another drink from his mug. I don't think his mug had Diet Sprite. For one thing, it was dark brown. Poor Danny Lubbins, Uncle Jim said, rubbing his jaw, his expression suddenly serious. It's Danny's story, actually. And as I said, it isn't a happy one. He sighed. Lost at sea, Danny was, he continued. One of the best and most loyal sailors I ever met. But the Spanish Eagle went down against some rocks. And Danny was lucky to be hurled onto a raft, even though it was only the size of a closet door. And there he was, tossed by the waves, bobbing away from the wreckage of the great old ship. Uncle Jim shut his eyes, as if picturing the shipwreck. He took a sip from his mug. Behind him, the wind rattled the window. Danny huddled with his eyes shut as the rain came down and the waves pitched him this way and that. He knew he didn't have much of a chance on that tiny raft. After a day of tossing in the storm, the clouds parted and the sun came out. Danny opened his eyes, and what do you know? He saw that he wasn't alone. Jim pointed a finger at the sleeping cat in the next room. That cat was riding the waves with him. Somehow the ship's cat had made it to the raft, and there it was, staring up at poor Danny. Poor, superstitious Danny, with a black cat his only company in the vast ocean. Sean's eyes were wide. "And the two of them survived? They made it to land?" he asked. Uncle Jim frowned. "Don't get ahead of the story, lad. You see, it's a very long story. Because Danny Lubbins was at sea on that tiny slip of a plank raft for 300 days. Sean and I both gasped. "Nearly a year," I murmured. "Just imagine," Jim continued, narrowing his eyes at us. "Under the sun and in terrible storms, with nothing to do but catch fish and eat them raw, and stare into the green eyes of a black cat for 300 days. He paused for a moment. Poor Danny thought he'd go stark raving mad. He needed something to think about. The poor lad needed something to do. So long at sea, so long at sea. He couldn't stand the uncertainty and the silence. Could you?" Uncle Jim didn't wait for an answer. "So what did Danny do to keep from going mad?" "He taught the cat to talk." I gasped again. Sean crinkled up his face. In disbelief, I guess. "Danny needed company," Jim said. "All those hours, all those days and days and days. So he taught the cat to talk." Jim looked from Sean to me. I think he wanted to see if we believed his story. I'd never heard of a cat who could learn to talk. But I had to believe his story. I mean, I heard the cat talk. I couldn't deny it. "And then they made it to shore?" Sean demanded. Uncle Jim shook his head, lowering his eyes. "Poor Danny. After 300 days, he spotted land, this very place. A rocky shore, but with gentle waves. The cat jumped off the raft and swam to safety. But Danny..." His voice caught in his throat. He coughed. His eyes still stared down at the floor. "Danny didn't make it. So close he was. So close to a happy ending. But only the cat made it to shore. I found her down the beach from the lighthouse, and I brought her home. But Danny..." His voice trailed off again. "Whoa, wait a minute, Uncle Jim," I said. "If Danny didn't make it to shore, how do you know the story? How do you know everything that happened?" "Yes," Sean agreed instantly. "How do you know all this?" Jim's blue eyes flashed. "The cat told me, of course. Celeste told me the whole story." Sean and I just stared at him. "There's more," Uncle Jim said, lowering his voice to a whisper. "There's a story everyone in the village believes about Danny." He stopped and gazed around. "Some people, you see, say they saw Danny Lubbins after he drowned. They say he came to shore as a ghost. They believe we haven't seen the last of Danny Lubbins. They think..." He took a deep breath. "They think Danny is going to return because he wants his cat back. They think he will come back here, an angry ghost, and take back what is his." Sean and I didn't have time to react. Just as Uncle Jim said those words, the back door swung open. The doors swung open, and there was no one there.